Hello, my friends, and welcome to Cathy Chat. You know, when you see Cathy Chat, that you are in for a treat. And today I have with me the incredible Derrika Morgan. Derrika, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you so much, Cathy, for the chance to, just be on here with you. And, I think the world of you. So thank you so much for doing this with me.
Well, thank you for that also. And if any of our friends out there have not met you yet, I wanted to give them the opportunity when we reconnected recently and I got to hear the incredibly cool stuff that you are into.
Mhm.
I felt that this would be an incredible opportunity for you to share it with the masses. And I mean that with all my heart. Being able to support other ladies in business is a huge piece of what I love. And I can't wait for our friends to hear all about Derrika. Take it
Yeah.
away, my friend.
Awesome. So I'm Derrika Morgan from Kansas City, and that is actually how me and Cathy know each other. We met co-working in my real estate days, like over 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, networking has always been a huge part of my business and just everything I've done entrepreneurial wise, or just even being a human wise. Yeah, networking is huge. I network mainly, post COVID is mainly virtual, which has really works with my lifestyle. Like I'm a single mom. I have an 8-year-old son. And so it just really allows me to,
I was
still
going to say, what do you do in your spare time? But you just answered that. Yeah, forget it. I take that back.
spare time. What's that?
I take that back. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm a Pinterest strategist. The name of my business is called Kingdom Mom Boss. And I've named it that because it encompasses, like they say, your content pillars, like those three topics that are, your main thing, but really it's like my life pillars. The three biggest things in my life are my relationship with God, my being a mother, so being, my son, and being an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur has allowed me to just navigate life in different ways than I wouldn't have been able to if I was working a standard, 9 to 5 standard type employee type of job. I mean, becoming, getting divorced and becoming a single mom, and where everything was on me all of a sudden, it's like, but yet still wanting to be there for my son in certain ways. The divorce was hard on him, and wanting to be there for him, not just physically, but emotionally, which takes a lot out of you. And also just being able to be there for myself and still, be able to bring in an income without having to worry about who's going to pick up my son from school, how's he going to do this, how I'm going to do that, and being so stressed out. Like, you're always going to have some type of stress with anything you do to make money, whether you're going to someone else's job or you're making the income for yourself. So I chose the benefits outweigh the risks as far as when it comes to me being an entrepreneur.
I love that so much. And when you were speaking, I picked up on a nugget
Mhm.
and one nugget like times a million. But one of the things that you mentioned is Pinterest.
Mhm.
I know that several of us have been on Pinterest for a while. And for me, it is all about finding a recipe. And for those of you who know me, don't laugh because I don't use my K room much. But when I do a recipe, I usually get it from a place like Pinterest because someone
Yes.
else has tried it. So my opportunity for failure is probably less.
Mhm.
And is Pinterest just for recipes, or what does somebody do with Pinterest these days?
Right. Yeah. And I mean, with Pinterest, it's like my connection with Pinterest started that, years and years ago, because same like how you were saying, like I went there to find new recipes. I was a new mom, and a friend to find recipes or just ways to decorate your house. I was like, I love crafts. So like I would go on there for like just different craft ideas. But after real estate, or when I was in real estate, I had a really serious health issue. So I was at home, couldn't work. And I kind of got into looking at Pinterest as far as for the business side of things, like how you could use it for a business, how you could make money from it, and following all types of like leaders in that field. But when COVID hit, so I'm newly divorced. I'd actually restarted my real estate practice because, that's what I'd been doing for years prior. 2 months later, COVID hit. So it's like,
Oh my gosh.
so it's all the work, all the contacts, everything. Nobody was moving, not anyone that I was connected to anyway. And so it was like a real OMG moment. Like, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to support myself? How am I going to support my son? Or, the time that I had him. And then just kind of realizing that there was, excuse me, there's a lot of people that have businesses that didn't crumble right when COVID hit.
That's
and
right.
they needed support. They needed help. They needed ways to let people know that they were still in business. And so I kind of took the best of a bad situation. So even though it tore me apart to be away from my son when he was with his dad, I took that time to invest in a couple courses that taught me about Pinterest management. How do you manage a Pinterest account? Why is it important? What parts, like what parts do they need to really thrive on that platform? I invested in two different courses. I did one specifically just for SEO keywording on Pinterest.
Okay.
I learned all I could. And then I just started talking to people, and because we were in this post COVID world, it was cold email pitches. And I did video emails. Like, I'm a bubbly person. I like to talk to people. Like, this is the only way I can connect and actually show who I am, because you can't physically meet me right now. And it worked. And I got so much traction so quickly. But, then life happens. And, I'm trying to navigate all these things with being a single mom. So I ended up doing some different things. But now I've just restarted the business at the beginning of this year, really helping people and being really diligent about the type of people I want to help. I want to work with those entrepreneurs that have these big, huge, purpose driven businesses. There is something big, there's an impact that they want to make in the world. Because on the other side of that, I also know that in order to create a big business, or just being a business owner, there's all these parts. There were the marketing, there's accounting, there's all these pieces that are equally important. And then there's the content piece. Like right now we're on a show, it's going to be on YouTube. There's that. A podcast, if you have that. Like I started a podcast during post COVID, and which was kind of like my way of connecting with other women still. And so there's all that. You may have a blog. There's all these things you're doing to let people know that you are a source of help. And yet, when I feel like that God has really put me in a position to learn a skill that really can elevate and expand and maximize and leverage everything that these powerful women of God are doing, because, and I kind of lived the power of Pinterest recently. My dad was recently in the hospital,
Yeah.
and he was, in there. We didn't expect him to be in there for 3 weeks, but, he's almost 90 years old. So it was
Oh,
important,
Derrika.
right. Yes. It was important for me to physically be there. So, networking stopped. These, one-on-ones, any type of thing like that to grow the business stopped. I didn't have any sales calls, but yet I thought about it like last week. I was like, oh my gosh, like all these things came to a complete halt. I wasn't on social media. I didn't do any posts. I wasn't in Facebook groups trying to like network and stuff like I usually do. But yet my Pinterest account grew. I got followers. I was getting views. Like I get over 700,000 views a week, or I'm sorry, a month on Pinterest. So it's like the content I was pushing out there was getting seen. I was still being of service to someone out there. Like, I was helping people in some way with the content I was posting. And I was like, oh my gosh, for someone who has this big, this big business, that they have all these pieces, and I'm still growing. Like I don't have a blog yet, but they currently have things and ways that they could build their business, grow their email list, grow their audience, like get more leads, get more sales. There's so many ways you can use Pinterest. And it's like incredible. And so I know that something like that could really leverage and really help a mom in business, because it
Yeah.
allows her to use content, one piece of content, and you can push traffic to it in so many ways with Pinterest. And, just like I said, like kind of be able to grow her platform without her actually having to be physically be there. That's huge for a mom who's already stressed out and busy. And the fact that there are people out there like me that specialize in just this one thing. I don't know much about Instagram. I don't know, much about Facebook marketing. Like they're good tools for engaging and everything, but with Pinterest, it's not social media. A lot of people kind of bulk it into that, like, oh, it's just another platform. No, Pinterest is a visual search engine. So it's kind of like if Instagram and Google had a baby, like it is visually appealing as like Instagram is, but it's very much search based. So people go to Facebook, or I'm sorry, to Pinterest, like how we were saying earlier, to find things. They may be trying to find a recipe. It's one of those places where you go where it's about answering a question. They have a question like, I'm planning a 4th of July party this year and I want to find the best recipes to serve to my guests. They go there to find solutions to their questions. They go there with purpose. So it could be, hey, the same party, but I want to wear a cute outfit. So you go on there, cute summer dresses for, outdoor parties. Like, and there's so many ways that if the entrepreneur understands how a consumer uses Pinterest, and then on your end, you get a strategy together that encompasses SEO keywords, which matches what people are looking for, and a visually appealing pin image, which is what they use to click on. And then where you take them is the power of it. Do you take them to a sales page? If you're a coach, do you take them to your page that talks about your program or your offer? If you're a podcaster, are you taking them, say it's a pin about how to learn about doing Pinterest for business. And that pin takes them to this video where we're talking about this, so it's like, that's where the power of it comes. You use SEO keywords and images to bring the people in, but where you send them to is where those conversions can happen and where you can start generating actual results from it.
When we first sat down here today, and I was so thrilled that you agreed to Cathy Chet, that's number one.
Yeah.
But when we first sat down here today, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to take notes. And then I went, hello, this is recorded for my sake, as a matter of fact, because you have said so many things that help each of us grow. First of all, hello, kingdom, follower of Jesus. That is like ginormous for me.
Right.
And then for you, you've said this several times, service to others. I do not feel, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a woman in business, that we are going to be blessed if we do not have that service to others in our mindset. And you are a beautiful example of that. Now, I just also was thinking I get to help people, different organizations with posting parties. And the reason for that is LinkedIn was not one of my favorite platforms yet. And when I first learned about it and tested the waters, so to speak, my feed blew up and I had no idea that it was all because of a posting party.
Wow.
When I put this on my LinkedIn page, I'm trusting that you will be getting a lot more hits for your Pinterest account. When someone doesn't know about Pinterest, how would you direct them initially? Like, what can they learn about Pinterest so they can actually start to utilize it effectively? These keywords that you've been mentioning for SEO is incredible.
Right. Yeah. When I realized there was a class just for that, I was like, yes, because I didn't even think of how deep it really can go. And now, there's even more ways that you can utilize the Pinterest SEO tactics. But as far as what I do and how people can, to answer your question, I take the same approach I took when I was in real estate. So when I met with people, like, they never signed anything with me. If it was a buyer or a seller, like, no, we're not here to sign anything. I want to educate you on what the real estate market looks like today and what role you play and how, what the process looks like. So that way you're informed and what's coming, next, and can kind of prepare and kind of have more of a smoother process. It's going to be stressful enough. So let's just try to make it easier. And so I take that same approach with Pinterest. I meet with people. I do free discovery calls. So it's just a chance for us to talk. And yeah, but in these conversations, it's all about them and their business. What are you trying to do with your business? Where does your business live online? How are you using content in your, business? Do you have a blog? Do you have a podcast? What kind of, what are you putting out there? What's your goal with Pinterest? Because with Pinterest, you don't have to use it to make money. You can use it to increase your email list. You can use it just to grow, your following. Because like I was saying, the difference earlier between Pinterest and other platforms with Instagram is very much brand focused. It's all about, oh my gosh, I want to see what so-and-so posted. I want to see what this influencer is doing or how, these new dance moves. With Pinterest, it is 100% consumer based. It is all about what they want to see, what they are looking for. They don't care who it comes from as long as they're getting what they want, so it's kind of more of a selfish platform in a way, but it really is. It's like they're able to create their own little world, whether it's they're trying to learn something, to elevate their business, to learn a new recipe, like whatever they want is in that platform. And it's a way that they know that someone's not going to be messaging them later, be like, hey, like try to get into, send them like a, what am I trying to say? Just try to send them a sales pitch on the back end. It's not like
That
that.
does happen. Yeah, that does.
Yeah, which does happen. But that's how I kind of take the approach. I want to educate this person on what the platform is and what it could do for their business. Because there's tons of blog posts they could go to, there's tons of podcast episodes, but I want to offer a one-on-one conversation. Let me get to know you and your business. And even if you don't choose to work with me, at least you got a little bit of information on how you could try to do these things yourself. Until I enrolled in those classes, I was I was in going,
Self-taught. Yeah.
self-taught, right? Yeah,
Yep.
but it doesn't have to be that way. Like, kind of, I'm trying to use my experiences and my knowledge and the thousands of dollars I spent in getting all this knowledge, use me to be able to do these things for you. Because as a business owner, do focus your attention on those things that only you can do. So Cathy, only you can be the one to make these connections with people, to talk to them about, Congo water. Only you can be the one that
Yes.
books these Cathy chats and is the host of the Cathy chats. So focus on that. And then, as you see fit, start bringing in people strategically to help you elevate what you're already doing. And with Pinterest, it's like you're just adding on a layer instead of another task. It's just a layer to elevate everything else.
Those
It's
messages, as I said, I'm so grateful that this is being recorded even for my sake, so I can get these strategies figured out. Because, and by the way, you've mentioned podcasts several times. Cathy Chat is also a podcast. So I take the MP3 of this file and put it on Spotify, just so you know. I'll send you the link, of course. For those of you watching with us today, I would like to welcome you again to Cathy Chat. I get to meet with business professionals in my network, and being able to connect today with Derrika Morgan is a highlight for me, because I will admit that Pinterest was not a platform I was utilizing effectively yet. And being able to watch Derrika, do you have a YouTube channel, by the way?
Yeah.
If you have a YouTube channel, I would love to be able to take a look at that also, and put the link in this particular comment section. Because, ladies and gentlemen, you can reach Derrika at derrika.com. Is that the coolest ever? Absolute coolest ever. And that's the part I wish I had been able to have my own name, like Cathy.com. Can you imagine how cool
Right.
that would be?
I
I do
know,
have
right?
CathyChat.com, but that's a different story. But think about being able to have Derrika.com. That just kind of says it all, literally. I
Right.
really am so.
Yes, awesome. Yes, so Derrika.com would be the main place to go, and you can actually find me everywhere. It's kind of my bio links page, for lack of a better term. So you can get to my Kingdom Mom Boss website. You can actually get to the Kingdom Mom Boss Etsy page, where I've created printables to kind of help, a mom as she lives this mompreneur type of lifestyle. So it's printables and journals and social media planners and all kinds of things. And then also is going to be a link to book a chat with me. So, and actually, to make that a little bit easier, if you go to derrikamorgan.com, it'll take you directly to my Google Calendar booking
Oh my
page.
gosh, you've
Yeah,
thought of everything.
yeah, I try to make it easy.
You've
And,
thought of everything.
right, yeah. So, feel free to reach out to me, book a free discovery call. There's even a chance to book just a coffee chat with me and just talk, get to know me. I love doing that. I love helping business owners, and just helping us all thrive. I think that we can do great things alone, but we can do like amazing things together. And I just want to be a part of that.
That's a beautiful message, too. And guess what you just did? You dropped another ginormous nugget and said the Etsy word.
Oh,
Now, for me, that is a personalization baby gift location. Apparently, there is another opportunity for us to use Etsy to our monetary advantage. Tell me about how you got started on Etsy.
Yes. So same as you. Like, it was a place where I went to get cards. Like, when my son was born, like, we did his birth announcement and the Christmas card. And it was like just a place to find interesting things that you can't get anywhere else. I didn't want to have just a plain old stock image. I wanted something with his photo on it. Like, he was a beautiful baby. Like, I want to show that off. But as because I'm an entrepreneur. So it's like I kind of see things from that lens in everything I buy. Like, whoa, what's a way that you could do this with that or whatever. And as I've, again, trying to figure out how to make income from home when I was, not able to be a real estate agent anymore, I started looking into Etsy. Like, okay, well, these are things that people make. Like, my first business was at 10 years old, and I made little craft bears and sold them at craft shows.
Oh my gosh, this is in your blood.
Yes,
This is
right.
in your blood.
Yeah, and I would go with my mom, like she did crafts and stuff, and I'd go with her to set up the booths. And so I understood, like, yes, like you can make things with your hands and you can sell them too. Like there's so many ways to make money. And yeah, so I kind of looked into it, like, well, there's all these things that I buy. I could make that. Like I bought a planner and it's just a digital file. And I was like, you know what? I would really like if this planner looked, because I like kind of really graphic designs, so flowers and just kind of these bold things. I was like, man, it'd be kind of cool to have that, but it wasn't there. And so I'm like, you know what? Well, I'm going to do it. And it was just, I'm really big on multiple streams of income, or at least having more than one thing going for you. Because if your main thing is stripped away from you, if your main service, you lose all your clients and all of a sudden you're like crickets, but what if that happened, but you had a Etsy page on the side, and then you had, I don't know, it could be any other thing that you could be doing on the side. It could just be making something with your hands and selling it at craft shows. Like I've
Mhm.
done all the things, but I think it's important to have that because you never know what life is going to bring your way, or when that client can afford you anymore and they need to drop your services. You've been doing a great job, but you thought it was secure. Like this happens to me. It happened to me last year. And so I think it's always good for women, especially, to safeguard our own financial security. And because I think that once that is taken away from a woman, it can start to crumble so many different parts of herself. Because, especially if she has a child too. And I think that, yeah, I think if and that's kind of why I want to help women with their businesses. I want to help give us that financial security and that financial freedom, and just to have that knowing that she is making an income for herself. And again, yeah, like that, I had something to do with it. So,
And those are the things I feel that a lot of solopreneurs, female or male perhaps, are realizing. Who would have thought 3 years ago with the pandemic that our lives and our businesses could possibly change? Some of us for the better, some people not so much. And we did need the punt and pivot piece that we
mhm,
talk about in Doc and Queenie all the time, because it's back to that same thing. I have shared, just because of my social media expertise now. And again, I learned it, just like you said, you
right,
spent thousands of dollars on your training. If one platform goes down, if
mhm,
one platform goes down, you just lost your entire company.
right,
But if you have, like you said, multiple streams of income, and for me, it's multiple platforms that
hmm,
you can connect with your clients through, then you don't have to worry. A few years ago, we had a 6 hour hiatus from Facebook.
yes,
The
I was just
world
thinking
went
that.
down. And so, what do I do? Oh my gosh, my clients, my
Mhm,
business page, my this.
right,
Surprise, it's back. Did that teach everyone a lesson to spread it out a little bit?
hmm,
I was not using my YouTube channel effectively yet either. And now all of a sudden, boom. And I had no idea. And I can't wait to actually dive into Pinterest, and with your expert tutorials and things like that, the playlists and things that people have on their YouTube channels. How to
yes,
this, how to that, how to something. I think that is huge. And
hmm,
you are so generous to do the consultations and to help us through perhaps the Etsy store and certainly the Pinterest platform. I can see the love to meet you, Derrika. I really appreciate you being on Cathy Chat today.
I do too. This has been amazing, and it's been an honor.
Is there, well, there's probably a million. Is there something that you can think of for people, ladies, perhaps especially single moms, to realize that they too can do this? Did you anticipate that you would be a solopreneur? Did you anticipate you would have multiple streams of income? Did you anticipate that you'd be able to work from home? Is there a message of hope that you can give to those moms out there that are going, I just don't know about this?
Yes, there is. I mean, there has been a lot of days that I, literally had to just make it through the day, and I didn't think that I'd be able to make it. And it was like, I didn't think there was any way. But the one thing I can say, is out of all the things I've been through before COVID, post COVID, and, and even, there'll be more things I'll have to go through. The one thing that has always stayed constant is my connection to God, my personal relationship with Him, and the fact that there is no way I would have ever made it through any of that without Him. So that for me, that's first, it's just knowing that, like the scriptures say, I could do all things through God, who through Christ who strengthens me. All things work for the good for those who love him and are called according to his purpose. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not into your own understanding. All of these things I had to constantly remind myself, like, and that's what got me through. That's the reason why I'm here today. That's why I survived sepsis. That's why I survived having well, there's a lot of things I've gone through. Like that would be a whole nother podcast episode in itself. But that's how I've survived being a single mom and staying an entrepreneur. Like there is no other way. But in that having that much faith, you also have to have that much belief in yourself that you physically can do what it takes. That even though you had a bad day, and even though you spent the whole day crying on the couch while your son was at school, that you can still start over the next day I can be better. What I always say to myself is I just want to be a better person today than the one I was yesterday. If I grew in some way, if I had strength enough to get up, to pick him up from school, to make him dinner, to not, be a complete puddle of a mess, to keep going, even if I only went an inch, that's an inch further than I went yesterday. So it's like, have faith in God, have trust in him, but also have the belief to know that if he gave you this mission, if he gave you, this purpose, if he gave you this business, and it was sent, from him and to accomplish something positive in the world and for other people and to serve his people, like if they say, if he brings you to it, he will bring you through it. It will not always be easy. It won't, but it's possible to make it through. Like I'm living proof that you can stay the course and things will continue to happen. I'm not a big, huge success yet. I'm not a multi-millionaire yet. Like I want to be able to provide income opportunities for other moms so that way those moms, single or not, don't have to go through what I went through. I want to be a resource that's like, let's get you trained in this skill. Let's get you deployed out to help these other entrepreneurs who don't have access to people like you. Let's create a community where we're all working together and growing together and thriving together. And I think that is so beautiful. I think that people um, just need to know that what you're doing serves a purpose, and just know that that purpose has nothing to do with your bank account. I had to get rid of that. I had to let go of the fact that of how it personally affected me and realize that me staying the course is going to help someone with their business, and that their business flourishing is helping that person's families and the people they're working with. And it's like this exponential impact, all because I stayed the course and didn't give up. So that's what keeps me going. And like, I just, yeah, that's it.
One of the questions I ask when I am working with people on leadership skills and things like that, I always ask a question:
Mhm.
what would you title your autobiography? And you have given me so many ideas for what your autobiography could be.
Mhm.
1 inch further than yesterday. The other one is exponential impact.
Mm.
And your message is loud and clear, my friend, that you are here in his name to serve others. And I am thrilled for your success journey.
Oh, thank
And I mean that with all my heart. I'm thrilled that you said yes to Cathy Chat. And I cannot wait to see what he's going to do in your life, because you are taking that message and giving it to others. And I'm honored that you were on Cathy Chat today.
you. Me too. Thank you so much, Cathy. Like I said at the beginning, I think the world of you. I always will. And it's been an honor to be on here and just to talk with you and get some of your time just to be able to, share with your audience. So it's been my pleasure.
Thank you very much. And for those of you today joining us on Cathy Chat, it's DERRIKA.com. For those of you on Spotify on our podcast. And I love the fact that you would be able to connect with Derrika Morgan herself, learn about Pinterest, learn about Etsy, learn about social media, learn about keywords, learn about hashtags, learn about how to not give up. Thank you again for joining us, Derrika. God bless you, my friend.
All right, you too, Cathy. God bless everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
All right, bye-bye.